Hey everyone, welcome back. The weather's been great in Japan lately, so I was able to go out to more hard offs and find some crazy weird stuff that I can share with you. So let's take a look in here. Right off the bat, you have game music on tape, Dragon Quest, something called Ajax, and another Dragon Quest. I actually own all of those already, so I didn't need to look at those. And then up above, there was this Final Fantasy VII DVD that has the CG cutscenes in high quality. That's really expensive at 16,000 yen. Thankfully, somebody already put that on YouTube. Some other old games up here, the Grange Point in pretty good condition for 3,800. That's pretty rare to find. And then up top, some more games with the Famicom karaoke set at 13,000. Pretty pricey, but also pretty rare. Over here, we have a rock band type instrument, a violin, practice violin at home. You don't need a game console. It's all built in. It's an all-in-one device. Pretty interesting. Good song choices there. Got the Totoro theme, some J-pop, and then the Wedding March, and then some Vivaldi, different games to play. I couldn't figure out when this came out, but at 2,200, not a bad price. Here is something a bit more expensive, a 33,000 yen Betamax Player. Why is it so pricey? It's one of the last ones they ever made. Discontinued in 2002. From a few years later, this TIAC W890R double tape deck was from 2011. Very high-end one. Very nice. Really pretty. Huge speakers. And then huge guitar amp. This is a tube guitar amp from a company called Hughes and Kettner. I don't know much about this thing, but people seem to love them, and with that price, they must be really freaking good or really overhyped. It sure is cool looking. Speaking of cool looking, but in a different way, is this junk tape deck from Harvest. It's not good. I bet it wasn't good when it worked, and now it doesn't even work, but I love the color. I don't know, something about it. It was pretty to me. Speaking of pretty to me, is this Sanyo. Oh man, this DC W07 linear tracking turntable. I bet it wasn't very good when it came out, but it looks so nice. And if you Google it, you can see the other components with it. Oh, totally gorgeous. Hi. Hi. Hi, stuffed animal, stuffed people. Oh, okay. You want some Bill Bruford? This is a Bill Bruford box set. Bill Bruford's the drummer from Yes and King Crimson. No idea why this ended up here. That's kind of an odd one. Don't see a lot of used prog. Used AOR. Adult Oiner Rock. Who likes Boz Skaggs? I don't, especially for that price. Over in the CDs, some interesting things. This Final Fantasy, that's 1 and 2, and it's like a bunch of like sound effects and music and 2 arranged tracks. I ended up buying that. Didn't get this one, though. This is a symphonic suite of Final Fantasy. Dirt cheap, but the symphonic stuff really isn't my cup of tea. Same day, different hard off. This one in Hanako-gane, a much bigger one with a much more eclectic selection of stuff, including a Super Nintendo. Not Super Famicom, Super Nintendo, 22,000. Never seen one at a hard off before. Wow, 3D glasses for the Sega Master System. I had a friend who had those back in the day. Those things are rad. And then a Neo Geo at 55,000. And then a ton of Neo Geo games. I always want to get a Neo Geo, but I know it's so expensive. I'll play 2 games and never play it again. So restraint. Phantasy Star for the original Sega. That's a good find. This dope keyboard looks great. I don't know anything about it. It's a Korg. Don't know when it came out, but I loved it. But even better, a Korg MS-20. And I think this is a vintage model from the 70s. It wasn't in perfect condition, but it was still selling at a high price. Tons of guitars. Who needs guitars? Let's get a keytar. Oh man, a Yamaha SHS-10. These things are kind of garbage. They're from the late 80s, but people have been able to use them in some fun ways, and apparently it has a good MIDI controller output. So you can adapt it in a lot of ways. So much fun. If I could find one dirt cheap, I'd buy it and put it on my wall, just, for the aesthetic. Over in the systems, your typical Famicom, Super Famicoms, Xboxes, and assorted things like that. But there were a few interesting things down here. You have a Sony HB55. This is a Sony-branded MSX1 from the 80s in good condition with the box, complete intact. These things are cool. You can play some old games on them, but those keyboards are just, they're total garbage. Those membrane keyboards, gross. Next to it, hey, you want some exciting virtual reality world? Well then, these 3D Max glasses are for you. I'm sure those are garbage. Whatever. Okay. Tons of old dead equipment here, just like every hard off. But I loved this old gigantic Betamax, I think Betamax VCR from Toshiba. Weighed a ton. It looks like one of those that'll give you tetanus. But I love a good old top loader and anything that's built like a tank. Tiny mini disc player. Over here, there was this cute little satellite dish, I guess. $3,300 for a piece of junk, but I loved it. If it was like a tenth of the price, I would have bought it and just put it on my wall for like a decoration. A lot of tapes here and a couple audio tapes, like, cassette tapes. Look at that. Yes, that is $7,700 for 90125 and almost 10,000 yen for the Beatles. I have no idea why. They're not rare. I must be missing something. And then more VHS tapes here. A lot of music ones. Very interesting selection. Not something you see a lot in the hard off. And then, hey, Wham, ABBA, Men at Work. What else do you need? Different day, different hard off. Now we are up north in Saitama. I went to a few interesting hard offs here and found some really obscure and bizarre stuff. Not so bizarre, Super Famicom, but I love the little display here where you can test out the games. And the next to that was the vinyl. Good vinyl selection here, but I wanted to draw your attention just to one up in the wall, up in the corner, right there, that black and white one. That is X Japan's last album, Dahlia, on a Pixodisc. 22,000 yen. I have that. I need to sell my copy. Over here, there is a SG-1000 Mark II. Good condition for that. And another Pokemon Nintendo 64. Those are always fun to find with the little feet that are the power and reset buttons. So cute. This is a Sharp mini disc player. I didn't think it was that good, but I looked it up later. That thing gets over 100 hours of battery life. That is nuts. Then some used iPhones and MP3 players. I think in the coming years, you'll see more and more of those at hard off. I said buy this and that Yamaha guitar, start my synth pop band. Someday, the dream is real. Going from 80s and 90s tech to way earlier. This is a Columbia Viva tonal gramophone. They had a couple of these. That's from the 30s at least. I couldn't find a ton of info on it. But then check out this TV, this Twinitron. It's so nice. Couldn't get an exact year on that either, but that is a KV1811. Nice old tech here, and also a can opener? Yeah, sure. I mean, sometimes you want a can opener, right? And hey, also, it can sharpen your knives. Win-win. Who knew? Scary PlayStations. Dope Super Scope in the box. Dirt cheap because it's broken. But hey, it looks really cool, right? Also looks really cool. This little game, no idea, but it's fun. Oh, mini disc players, how I love you and your smooth tape eject options. Some nice junk ones there. I like the one with a DVD drive built inside, and another nice old one here. Oh, satisfying. Not so satisfying. This, that looks like complete garbage, even when it wasn't junk. Let's get away from that into nice stuff like science. I always see microscopes at hard off. I don't know why. Here's this crazy, like, modern-esque boombox that TDK made. It weighed a ton. If you put it on your shoulder, you'd break your fucking shoulder. It's mostly for, like, hooking up your phone or your iPod to. Strange. A lot of guitar amps, and then over on the other side, you had some Bose stereos. Remember those? The TV ads you'd always see on back on the TV in the 80s and 90s. Everyone in Japan bought one, and they sold them all to hard off because they're always here. Nice old mini disc player with a great mahogany and gold look. I wanted this so bad, but again, I don't need it. Trying to have restraint. What I really don't need is an M. This is a speaker from the Mamoru Miyano tour from 2018, not from the movie M. And I love this one with that pink. Oh, I almost got that too. Some old cameras, really old cameras, 8mm, right? That's like super old. And then these cute little VHS-C ones that I would have had coveted back when I was a kid. nice look, even though they look like they're like made of mold now. Over here, still sealed some reels, empty reels for your reel-to-reel player, because the reel-to-reel players cost $8,000 when you buy them used. You're going to want to be able to play something on them, right? Then around the corner, this, great looking, great, awesome linear tracking turntable. I looked this one up. This is the Sony PS-FL77. It is a fine turntable. Oh, it's junk. Speaking of junk, whoa. That's probably pre-war or immediately post-war. Same with that thing. They don't work, but they weigh a ton and cost a fortune. Over here, that is a turntable tape CD player combo. They're great. Little suitcase model. And then an accordion. Weird Al, what up? One more hard off in Saitama. This one is nuts, and it has the most high-end, crazy, hard to find hi-fi stuff I've ever seen. Right off the gate when you walk in, check out these speaker cases or enclosures. There's no speaker. It's just the giant enclosure. That is huge. You could smuggle all the heroin in those. Don't smuggle heroin. Then some nice turntable tone arms and styli here. Some really pricey ones, really nice ones too. Another dangerous area for me because I may actually want one of those and make use of it. So I'm going to run away from that quickly and go to vintage hi-fi I do not need. Like this absolutely gorgeous reel-to-reel player, the Akai 77 from the early 80s. People apparently love those. And it's so compact. Oh, God. And then some big chunky brothers behind it, all cost a fortune, all apparently in like super pristine working order. And then this is a tape deck by Nakamichi. Crazy, super expensive, super high end too. Over in the turntables, I just love this massive base for this relatively okay JBL turntable. Like, God, that thing is huge. And then down below, you have a nice VPI retailed for about that much money when it came out. It's not that old. And then next to it, the same thing, but gold. I've never been a fan of the gold ones. Another high-end one over here. These are all great turntables. Oh, man. Another denon. And then these individual parts. A lot of people buy these and then make their own plinth, the bottom part. It's kind of like, your own Frankenstein turntable. If you want to have your own custom look, people do that. I think some of these are made that way. It's kind of a cool way to have your own kind of unique turntable. Nice old Handycam. Kind of fun to look at. It reminds me of like my first Sony branded ones from the 90s. But it's not a Sony, National. Another really old one. That one's less cool looking, but I still like the design. And then another one of those crazy Columbia things from the 30s. I don't know why they're all over this part of Japan. I'll ask Ultraman if he can tell me. A broken reel-to-reel that was still 20,000 yen, because of course it was. And then a working one that was 70,000 yen, because of course it was. Then down below, this massive speaker, and you see that circular thing? What is that? It wasn't labeled. Someone help me. What is this? What the hell is that? Anyone know? Leave a comment, please. I don't need help for this. That's a boombox, and I don't need help for this. This is a Casio KX101 boombox keyboard combo in perfect working condition for 45,000 yen. You have no idea how tempted I was to buy this. It was so pretty. It's so good. What I didn't need was a 170,000 yen preamp. God, this is supposed to be God tier, but I mean, come on, really? And look at this mother. Jesus. That's a preamp. That's 300,000 yen. People be crazy. I'm wondering away. Then some nice high-end CD players. You got this one up here, and then you got your SA CD players. Here's one for 450,000 yen. It looks nice, and I'm sure it plays Super Audio CDs very well. Here's the thing. I can't tell the difference between Super Audio CD and regular-ass CD. Hell, I can't tell the difference between FLAC and MP3. So these things here, I am definitely not the target market. Sorry. Over here, some cool other things that I'm not the target market for because I don't understand them. A lot of this is like super vintage hi-fi. You have some old turntables, another one of those gigantic and tremendous ones that I pointed out in my last video. Massive speakers, old tube amps from the 80s. Oh, this whole room is just like vintage audiophile wet dream, gorgeous, amazing stuff that nobody needs but people want because it's just so pretty. And oh man, nice couch too. So much nice stuff here. This old Sony deck from the 70s in perfect condition. This old Kenwood turntable also in perfect condition. These giant old speakers that still work and aren't that expensive. I need to leave this floor. Let's go look at the junk before I buy something I don't need. Pong! Nice green Pong. Pretty. Some Mega Drives. Wireless controls that are probably garbage. Old Famicoms, the typical stuff you see in a hard off, and then some old portable like Game & Watch type things that in various conditions of working. I did like these terrible speakers with this terrible looking turntable, but I really loved that lime green mini disc player and this other one here that looks like a cube from the future. Another one that has a DVD-ROM in it, DVD drive in it, which is just awesome to me. And then I love these L-shaped ones. It's like from the makers of Tetris. Mini discs. 2 more hard-offs. Now we are out in Hachiyoji, which is to the west of Tokyo. Found some cool stuff out here too. Right off the bat, walking right in, first thing we see is this old Denon reel-to-reel, the DN3302R. This is from the 50s. Crazy old. Crazy expensive still. I imagine it can be restored if you know what you're doing. Then some old vacuum tube radios that don't work, but a lot of them just need tubes replaced, so if you can find them, they'll work fine. You got one there and one there. Cool old style, retro look. Nice old retro boombox. That is a Toshiba from 1980. Not a lot of features on it, but it is a cool look and not too heavy. This is a pre-war projector, 1930. That is one of the oldest things I've seen in a hard off. This TV is adorable. It's for a PC, actually. It's for a Sharp computer. This one's not, but man, is it great. I love the look, the design. I'm sure someone will buy that for a TV show at some point. And this clock was also great, but the sticker said, once it rings, it never stops ringing. So I guess it's cursed. Speaking of cursed, here's an interactor. People actually made this. This is a subwoofer you strap to your body. I'm not exaggerating. It was designed to like make you feel the games, man. This came out in the 90s. I remember seeing ads for it back then and just thinking it was the stupidest goddamn thing in the world. Oy. PCFX, another in the long line of systems I want to buy but shouldn't buy, but I still want to buy even though I shouldn't buy them, but I want to buy them. A Neo Geo again. This one's cheaper than the other one, but still too expensive. And another one of those Sony MSX computers with a better keyboard this time. Cool design on that one. A lot of cool old video game stuff over here, including some actual games, including a copy of Magical Chase, I think it is, for 77,000 yen. Pricey games. Over here, there's a Hansen Tigers GameCube, which is awesome for 8,800, and even more awesome is that I own one, complete in box, and I paid 3,000 yen for mine. Woohoo! Yay me! Here's a family trainer, the Japanese equivalent of the Power Pad, more or less, from Bandai. I always see these at these stores, and they're usually in really good shape. Maybe everyone bought them and took care of them, or nobody bought them and they're on clearance. I don't know. I just know that these kids are super stoked to exercise with the Famicom. Whatever. You know, those things never worked, and I hated mine. Anyway, records, they're fine. And then reel-to-reels. You got the Graduate on reel-to-reel, and then some like movie theme compilations and symphonic stuff. This is usually what you find on reel-to-reel. You never find the albums you want. I guess everyone kept their Beatles and Led Zeppelin reel-to-reels and instead sold their compilations of movie themes. Then we have some Laserdisc box sets, and these can get pretty ridiculous. That Slayers one is pretty small, as are these other ones, I think, for Blue Seed, I think. And yeah, they're all Blue Seed. Someone really loved Blue Seed, but somebody really loved this show. This is something called Kitty 7,700. I have no idea how many discs there is. That thing weighed a ton. And here is a extra pan Laserdisc. Psychedelic violence on the verge of destruction. They're not that metal. Also not metal, my first Sony. This is a cute little computer for kids. It's adorable. I remember seeing the commercials for these when I was young and I wanted one. I'm sure it's garbage, but it's fun. And my real question here, though, is who dressed this child like a court jester? Oh, dear. Dancing Boy! Off-brand DDR pad. I just love saying Dancing Boy. Dancing Boy! Now let's look at the hi-fi. Some good stuff down here. Got this nice tape deck with a disc built in, rewritable too, which is nice. And then this another one. Here's this crazy. I saw one that had 2 trays. This has 3 trays on one side, 1 on the other. It has a ton of nice features. Apparently, this thing retailed for nearly 100,000 yen when it came out about 20 years ago. Over here, some more nice decks. I love the style of this Pioneer. I'm sure it's a really good one. Most of the stuff from that era seems to be. Here's a crazy turntable, the Nottingham, the Interspace. You know it's a legit turntable because it has a definitive article. This is one of those 2-arm turntables. I couldn't get it out of there because it was too heavy, but crazy. Also crazy, insanely expensive, tube amps, insanely expensive, reel-to-reels, everything here seems to be insanely, oh my god, this tube amp cost 132,000 yen. Broken, but if they play some tubes, they can hook it up to the 77,000 yen reel-to-reel player and listen to Simon & Garfunkel or something. Go nuts. Here is a trio tape deck. I like the look of this, very like utilitarian, industrial, cool style. It's from the early 70s. Another one from the early 70s down here is this Technics, which also has a cool style to it. I love the top loaders. They're not the most advanced or like, interesting players, but I think, they're durable as hell. Another bell set, the second bell set I've seen in 2 hard-offs. I have no idea. Crazy looking old tape deck here, and then around the corner, we had some more crazy old stuff, including an oscilloscope. I knew it's somebody who had an oscilloscope in their dorm room when I was back in college. They used it to make lasers or something. I still don't understand them. Looks neat, though. Cool stuff here. More cool stuff is this really cool looking old Sharp computer. This is a Sharp MX80B. This is a early business PC, not a gaming computer. So I'm sure there are some games for it, but it was primarily for business, typing up stuff, which is a shame because this keyboard felt absolutely terrible. It was like slimy and gross and smushy. It was ugh. We're on a different hard off now. I couldn't get an outside shot. We're still in Hachiyoji though, and we're looking at a bunch of broken guitars and then a broken upright bass. Did a ska band take things too far? This can be yours for 22,000 yen. Why? I don't know. Science! The more time I spend at hard off, the more I think the majority of this stuff is bought by movie set designers who need things for period pieces, like old typewriters that still somewhat work, old projectors, old pieces of science equipment, and old voltage or amperage things. I mean, who else is going to buy that? Here's something really weird, though. A TV Jack. It's a great name by Bandai. A very early cartridge-based system from Japan from the early 70s. Speaking of 70s, we have karaoke machines that use 8 tracks. I love the burgundy one. It's my boyfriend's favorite color, so maybe I'm biased, but it's great to look. I also love the depth of time period. You have 8-track ones and one that uses CD-G. So big, wide range of errors here. Nice little panel for your Sansu. Put your turntable in there, or maybe put this massive 8-track player in there. That might be too wide for it. It's a lot of knobs. It's too many knobs. It's 500 yen. This is terrible. This thing's adorable, but this would melt your records. I'm sure that needle is just literally fire for vinyl. Other turntables, they'll look much better. Some old stuff here. I didn't know this existed. This is a mouse for the Sega Mega Drive. Apparently, it came out in Europe and Japan only. You can play Lemmings with a mouse. That's not fair. We didn't get one in America. Check out this Laserdisc box set for Galaxy Express 999. That is one set. I have no idea how many discs that is. I literally couldn't move it. That's how heavy it was. That is bonkers crazy. Less heavy was this Star Trek box set that had the original movies from 1 to 6 and something called the 20th anniversary. Still pretty heavy, still unnecessary, still very expensive when it came out. I think it was priced at about 36,000 yen. Very expensive. Not expensive, but complete garbage is this Disney-branded DVD player with a Mickey Mouse-shaped remote. I hope nobody buys that. If they want a DVD player, they should get this one over here with a VCR attached. It has a DTS decoder and can play CDs. That is the only VCR/DVD player you'll ever need. And if you buy it, you can get these tapes. I am starting to wonder if nice, new in-stock, unopened VHS, SVHS, and beta tapes will become hard to find at some point. Right now, I see them at a lot of hard-offs, and they're still pretty cheap. That one SVHS tape was about 300 yen. This box of 3 is about 1,000 yen. So yeah, I wonder how long that's going to last. Plenty of turntables here, some interesting ones, some that I see at every hard-off, but a couple caught my eye. These turntables by Dual, this one 110,000 yen. But amazing, it felt like a granite base. I don't know, it was really sturdy, seemed to work perfectly. Nice table. Down here, another one for 77,000. This was apparently gold-plated. I don't know if it needs to be gold-plated, but it sort of looks pretty. Maybe it sounds good too. Over here, some more, utilitarian audio. You got your portable and not so portable radios. These give me big dad vibes. I don't know why. Like, I see one of these and I imagine my dad in the garage working on some woodwork and listening to the Browns on the radio and swearing because of how bad they are. Really quick, this is a relatively recent tape deck from 2015. I keep telling people, if you want a good tape deck and don't want to spend a lot of money, buy one of those. They're not great, but they're not terrible, and they're a hell of a lot better than the ones you can find in stores now. Over here, there's another Korg MIDI controller. This one was only about 8,000 yen. I imagine it's not that great, but it looked cool, but not as cool as this. Another guitar. Oh, yeah, boy. Oh, I saw 2 guitars in 2 days. I didn't buy either of them. I fucked up. I love how this Sega game is in between some random tapes, and then there's Jamiroquai mini disc. It's virtually insane that no one's bought that. I don't know what to tell you. That's about it for today. One more great thing here, this Sharp GF535 boombox. Apparently the tape head works, but the speakers don't. So if someone could find that and fix it, they get a good deal. I love the VU on that. It's a pretty one. But that's going to do it for today. I hope to see you again soon for another video. If you liked what you saw here, click those like and subscribe buttons. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. And if you have any questions or comments about other things you want to see me cover, that'd be great too. But thanks again for watching. Take care.